I'm Erin Canali, and I am been at St. Elizabeth in Seton since 2008, and have twin boys. And I work for AT&T full time.
And how long have you served here in the parish as a catechist?
Since my boys are in first grade, they're going to be sophomores. So what is that? 8 years, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what ways have you served?
I have always been first grade, except for 1 year. I did a stint in second grade because there was a need. So I had a necessity for the first grade class. When my boys were in first grade, they only had one catechist, and so they needed someone to sit in and make sure the kids didn't get too rowdy, right? So I figured my kids are there anyway. I'm sitting in the parking lot, so why not let go in and help out. So that's how I got started, and 8 years later, here I am. So
I'm about to curveball you.
what's that?
Why did you stay after the boys got promoted to second grade?
I don't know, because they needed me. You go where you're needed sometimes, and so I just stayed with first grade. And I would also say that first graders believe what you tell them, and they don't ask too tough of questions. And that's what I thought at first, but that's not always true. Yeah. It's helped me meet people. It's kind of neat to see kids that have come through and then see them grown up, and so that's been really exciting. So my favorite moment, it's really kind of silly, but and I can't remember the little boy's name, but one week he was a very active child in the class, and he said something about a harmonica and how he really wanted a harmonica. And for whatever reason, that week I was at the music store on Skybo Road, and they had a 3-pack of harmonicas for like $5, and I bought it, and I gave it to him the next week, and you would have thought that I had given that kid a car. Like, I don't know, it was a neat experience. And his mom was like, why did you give him harmonicas? I'm like, he said he wanted a harmonica, and I happened to see him. And it was just a fun time to see, a kid light up for something simple. So I mean, I would say it kind of goes back to, seeing the kids grow up. There was a little girl in our class. Obviously, they're all little girls. They're first grade. But she would, every time I would call her name out, she would say, that's not my name. My name's Chicken Nugget. Right? And so, and honestly, I don't even know what her real name is now, because I call her Chicken Nugget. And she's now probably in 5th grade. And just 2 weeks ago, I saw her for the first time since the pandemic. And I was like, Chicken Nugget. And she was like, Mrs. Canali. And, we hugged, and it was a fun, time. So I think that would probably be. That I didn't know enough. Yeah, I mean, and that's probably why I stuck with first grade, because I was like, okay, I know the basics. Like, that's what I'm teaching here in first grade. But, I overcame it because, we have a book that tells us what we're supposed to teach, what we're supposed to say. And if you kind of stick to that, you're okay.
If a potential catechist or volunteer came to you, they had fears about serving, how would you respond to them? Like if they said, I'm afraid I'll say something wrong, how would you coach them up?
So my go-to phrase is when a kid asks me a question that I don't know, because there's a lot that I don't know. I am not a priest. I didn't go to school for this. I just know what I was taught as a youth and an adult going, being a Catholic, a cradle Catholic, as they say. I always said, I don't know. Let me ask. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. And so that was my go-to answer. And then I would go to my husband. Obviously, he's the deacon, right? He knows a lot more than I do. So I would either go to him or, I would research it and come back the next week and try to answer that question for him.
Well, if they said, well, I don't know if the kids will like me, how do you respond to that?
The kids always like you. I mean, they just do. They're kids. They're drawn to the adult in the room. There's always two adults and a high school kid, and they look up to you. They're gonna like you. I mean, it just happens. Do it. Try it. I mean, it's an hour on Sunday morning. The preparation time, it depending on how you run your class, it's not a lot. We've given these books, we're given these tools. There's lots of online things that you can do, activities. Just try it. It's fun. It's rewarding. Sometimes it can be frustrating, just kids in general. But I mean, it's never bad. Like, there's always going to be something good out of that hour spent with those kids.